The circuit that fell off the FIA Formula One World Championship calendar for over a decade is this weekend back on track. It is the host venue for the halfway point of the Euroformula Championship. The FIA F1 World Championship has had the honour of having two Grand Prix race here in the previous 6 months. Good afternoon, in fact, good evening to you wherever you are watching us live all around the world. This is round 5 of the fantastic Euroformula Open Championship. You can see the cars are exiting pit lane. This is race 1 of 3 for the weekend. We have passed the halfway point of the championship, and we're about to get ready to race for the first time here this weekend at l'Autodromo di Imola. This is, of course, yes, Imola, the circuit which hosted the Emilia-Romagna Formula One Grand Prix just a few months ago. And as we pass the halfway point of the championship, that was at Hungary 2 weeks ago, we race to the checkered flag for the 2021 championship. Qualifying took place earlier this morning, and the Texan Jack Crawford placed the Motorpark car 52 on pole position. It will be an all-American front row of the grid for race 1 here this evening, under the threat, the very slight threat of a tropical storm. It is tremendously warm. We had a top temperature approaching 37 degrees Celsius today. The track temperature reached over 50 degrees Celsius. It has dropped off as the sun starts to set here in Italy's Motor Valley as the cars make their way down through Tamburello. And you look at the 21 car of the Brit, Josh Mason, out on track to warm the Michelin tyres, which doesn't take too much effort on a very warm day. It has dropped off. The track temperature about 41 degrees as you ride on board with Enzo Trulli, making his team debut with Carlin Racing, a team switch after missing the last round. He was actually starring in practice, the Italian who was born not too far from this, the Imola circuit. You can see the sun is setting, so vision may be a problem as we do race this 100-kilometre race, the first of 3 races this weekend. 99 kilometres. We'll race a full Grand Prix distance here this weekend. Well, within a few hundred metres there off 99.6 kilometres, 19 laps for race 1. So you ride on board with Enzo Trulli, now lining up as the sole entrant for the Carlin Racing team, who fielded a young Australian Christian Mansell earlier in the season. And here is one of 3 Americans in the field, one of 2 Texans, Enzo Shanti for the DriveX team. Louis Foster just ahead of him, fighting for the championship. Here's the second generation racer. This is Ian Silvestrin with you in commentary this weekend. Delighted once again to be joined by Elliot Wood. Elliot, this will be an absolutely fantastic race, spiced up potentially because we had a few drops of rain just a few moments ago.
Yeah, I've just run up from the paddock and I can confirm there is still a little bit of moisture in the air, and with the sun setting as well, you know, there's so much temperature change between where the places are in the shadows or when they're in the sunlight. It's an element we haven't really seen in this series before, so I'm really excited to see how this plays out.
Unlikely to be a wet race, however, when we say it is raining, just a few drops which basically evaporate when it does hit the surface, the track surface. As you look at Casper Stevenson, car 25, a race winner in 2021. He won a race 2 weeks ago over in Eastern Europe at the Hungaroring. So as we say, an all-American front row of the grid. Jack, to the right of your screen, the Texan who scorched around the track earlier today to score a 1:34.9 second lap time, and qualifying was actually a red flagged when Roman Stanek, who is also on debut, the FIA Formula 3 driver, brought the session to a premature end. So there were drivers who were frustrated. They had to abort their flying lap. No problem for Jack. The Motorpark car 52, the Red Bull Junior from Houston, Texas, USA, will start from pole position.
Okay, unpark yourself. We want to go that and not this or whatever, yeah? We are going forward, not trying to protect some idiots.
Last minute instruction from team owner Timo Rumpkel.
Very interesting. We don't normally hear stuff like that, but given he's starting from the front, telling him that, you know, there was potentially he was considering to defend rather than go attacking from the off is very interesting. With these lower temperatures, or hopefully lower temperatures, we're now in the 40 degrees track temps. It should mean the car's a little quicker because the air is going to be more dense, more oxygen getting to the engine, therefore the engine can produce more power, and that obviously leads to the car going faster. However, with lower temperatures as well. It means it takes a little longer to put temperature into the tyres. All these other environmental factors come in, particularly the lights between the trees. That's really going to distract the drivers on that first lap as well. So lots of environmental factors at play today.
The All-American front row of the grid, Cameron Dass, the championship leader out of grid 2. This is Cimbolic Barsi. What a debut in the championship for the driver from Istanbul in Turkey. Probably, in fact, no probably about it, he is the most popular driver in the series. So many fans watching on live from Turkey. And Cem will start out of grid 3 alongside Louis Foster for the Crypto Tower team. Louis, the second generation racer, son of Nick Foster, British touring car racer from around about a decade ago. Louis Foster in contention for the championship well and truly. He's on 184 points behind Cameron Dass, the series leader, on 203. This is Rafa Villagomez for the Van Amersfoort racing team, the driver from Guadalajara in Mexico for the legendary team of Frits van Amersfoort from the outskirts of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. So a great field lining up, just still a few moments before the cars set off on the formation lap. The first of 3 races here this weekend at this legendary circuit in Italy's Motor Valley. Roman Stanek on debut in Euroformula.
Yeah, no problem, because it's a bit too much play in the prototype.
Roman Stanek missed most of practice 1 yesterday with an engine issue, did one single lap, came in and said, it's not right, boys. He did put in a 136.136. That was good enough for 6th on the grid after only completing 2 qualifying laps. So we'll look for the Czech, Roman Stanek, to come storming through from the 3rd row of the grid. One of 3 drivers from the FIA Formula 3 Championship, along with Jack Crawford, Rafa Villagomez. As you look at the driver from London, England, Casper Stevenson, who took victory in race 2 weeks ago at Hungary. Speaking of which, in just a moment, we will take a look at the highlights of round 4 of the championship, which were held in Budapest 2 weeks ago. 5 different winners in the 2021 championship thus far. Nazim Asman, car 18, the driver from Malaysia. Also for the Crypto Racing team, Crypto Tower Racing team. As we go back to 2 weeks ago in Hungary, in glorious sunshine. Jack from pole position in race 1. It was side by side down the straight, shades of Schumacher and Barrichello from a decade earlier. Foster around the outside until he made contact, or did Crawford make contact with him? Either way, it was the end of their race. The same could be said for Cameron Dass as Cimbolic Barsi stormed to a debut win in the series. Casper Stevenson, the driver to beat in race 2, car 25 for the Van Amersfoort racing team. Josh Mason having a difficult race, as Casper took his maiden victory in Euroformula for 2021. Race 3, it rained. Tropical conditions, not too different to what we've got here this afternoon, although we don't expect a repeat of what you see on your screen at the moment. Cameron Dass, the championship leader, order was restored. He was able to avoid this type of thing. Josh Mason going off. Stanek Chauvenac having a fantastic fight with Louis Foster, but it was Cameron Dass who extended his lead in the championship to take a race 3 in Budapest 2 weeks ago. So we're just a few moments away from the start. The 2021 Euroformula Open Championship, the second half of the season gets underway right here at the Imola circuit. Let's take a look at the grid for you. It's an All-American front row from Houston, Texas, USA. Jetpack Jack on pole alongside the championship leader Cameron Dass. Cimbolic Barsi, Louis Foster on the second row. Roman Stanek, Rafa Villagomez, Nazim Asman, Casper Stevenson. Then we go to Enzo Trulli, Josh Mason, Philip Kamin-Yars, as Zdenek Chauvenac, Brandon Oxley also making his debut in the car 34 for Team DriveX. And Enzo Shanti, another Texan, another American, out of grid 14 for Team Drivex. So Elliot, thankfully, it looks as though we will have a dry race. Jack Crawford has been in blistering form, a 1:34.9 in qualifying, and that was in a red flag session. So who knows how fast he could have gone.
Yeah, there was actually a full course yellow towards the end of qualifying as well, and he claimed he was 4 tenths up on his previous best on that lap when the full course yellow came in. He was coming out of Ravazza and then he had to slow down. So he says, you know, he could have been a second ahead of everyone else. Having said that, a lot of the other drivers got compromised by that full course yellow as well, so you never know what could have happened. But with those higher temperatures, that was the first fresh tyre running of the day, and the lap times are actually quicker than a lot of the drivers were expecting. They were expecting 1:35s, got into the 34s. But with the slightly cooler temperatures now, we could actually see very similar times. Although the cars are fueled high, because obviously a race distance, this track, you know, uses a lot of fuel. It's one of the high octane tracks, which does mean the car should get lighter quicker, and therefore by the end of this race, you know, the Michelin tyres, once you get them in the performance window, they can last for the whole race, and we could see potentially lap times going a little faster than qualifying. But we'll just have to wait and see. But some of the drivers were teasing me that could happen.
Four sets of Michelin control tyres for the drivers. As we mentioned, we will race a full Grand Prix distance at the circuit that, as we mentioned in our introduction, hosted 2 Formula One races in the previous 6 months. Jambolic Bashi, so much support.
Yep,
for the former
on the stream today are going to be very excited. It's a shame we couldn't broadcast qualifying, but you know, we've waited until this evening, a lovely sunset over Imola, just so they can watch their favourite driver go off and do a Euroformula race.
Made a fantastic debut in the championship with a race victory. He has raced on this circuit before. Of course, it is the debut for Euroformula at this legendary circuit. So many drivers, it is their first time here to Imola. Jambolic Bashi has actually raced, albeit in a GT4 car, which is very different to these magnificent, these superb, stunning Dallara EF320 F3 spec cars. The field come up to the grid. We're just a few moments away from the start of race 1 here this weekend. Here's Roman Stanek. We're expecting a lock from the Czech from the 3rd row of the grid. So it's an all-American front row. Jack, to the right of your screen, there's his team. And to the left, the championship leader, it's Cameron Das. 19 laps, race 1. Welcome to the home of the Emilia-Romagna Formula One Grand Prix. The Americans lock out the front row of the grid. The green flag from the back of the grid. The 5 red lights. For the first time this weekend at Imola, we race. Super start from Jack Crawford. Not so good from Cameron Das. Jambolic Bashi goes down the inside. The Turk tries to take 2nd place. Foster on the outside. The Brit will slot into position 4. Goes wheel to wheel with Cameron Das. Indeed, he has done it. Jambolic Bashi already up into 2nd place, and we can hear them cheering all the way from Istanbul in Turkey. Foster around the outside. Jack is gone. Super start from the Texan, as he disappears already into Tosa Curve. They're 4 wide further back in the pack. There's Cameron Das on the outside. Jambolic Bashi just a fence from the championship leader as they race up the hill for the first of 19 times. Crawford is gone.
And it looks like Cameron Das is trying to go around the outside, going back down the hill. Jambolic Bashi retains 2nd, Das in 3rd. So he got past Foster, who was ahead into Tamburello. Crawford, and someone puts a wheel on the dust there, stays on track. Everyone's got through the first 2 sectors very cleanly. Crawford already over a 2nd ahead by now. He's over the hill by the time the drivers are just going through the chicane. It's a brilliant sunset as well, so these drivers must be really enjoying it.
Sensational start from Crawford as the rest of the field come through. Alta Variante, a good start from Nazim Azman, but he might have thrown it all away there as Josh Mason goes down the inside of the Malaysian and tries to take the place. Casper Stevenson, Enzo Trulli right behind as well. So Crawford disappears from view. He's got an enormous lead.
Josh Mason rear-ended way into the gravel. That's an old school runoff there, but I think that was potentially Enzo Trulli who rear-ended him. We'll have to see a replay. Because of how far he's in the gravel, we might not get a safety car. The drivers complete the first lap, and it actually looks like one of the Crypto Tower cars at the back with a broken front wing going into pit lane at the end. We can see the cloud of dust where Mason has still gone off. So completing the first lap, Crawford 2.6 seconds ahead of Jambolic Bashi, who's having to look in his mirrors with Cameron Das behind at Tamburello, and the car that was involved, I believe, is Nazim Azman. Yeah,
Yep.
so he is in the pit lane, having his front wing changed, so he should re-enter this race.
And Casper Stevenson as well. For the moment, it is just a local yellow flag. Nazim Azman down in pit lane. That was well spotted, Elliot. A new front wing going on car 18 for the Malaysian, who had a fabulous start. He was into 7th place on the opening lap of the race. Here's Casper Stevenson. Look at the front wing. Let's hope for his sake that the suspension and the geometry at the front of the car is not damaged. Take a look at this. Down into Rivata 1. Wow, Stevenson runs into the back of his countryman. The two English drivers make contact, so Nazim Azman was actually the innocent bystander in this. Enzo Trulli on board. The Italian locks up and says grazie mille, and the Italian takes 3 drivers in 1 corner. So Trulli up to 7th.
Yeah, he was just sitting on the outside, and then Mason span across, and Azman is now back on track. Stevenson still in the pits. We're following Enzo Trulli, has climbed up to 7th place. Still double yellow flags at turn 18, which the drivers will be approaching soon. So they're going to have to really slow down into this corner, which, you know, has neutralised this battle between Foster and cars behind Roman Stanek, who made an impressive start, given this is his first ever proper launch in the Dallara 320 with a very tricky clutch.
Albeit he is quite an experienced driver. He's in position 5 behind Foster. Coming over from the FIA Formula 3 Championship, he gets the tow from Foster. Over 260 k's an hour down the straight. Foster defends into Tamborello. Stanek tries the outside. And behind them, Rafa Villagomez driving superbly. He's in position 6 ahead of Trulli. There's Stanek, car 7, position 5, with Foster just ahead. Foster has to think about the championship, remember. Cameron Dass is just ahead of him, so the championship contenders, let's say that, they're 1st and 2nd in the series, but they're 3rd and 4th on the road. Roman Stanek not in contention for the championship. Joining us from the FIA F3 series in P5 after a disappointing, actually, let's be honest, it was a troublesome run in qualifying and practice throughout the week. But Roman Stanek, the Czech, he's hooked up in position 5 as they race down the hill. Foster just puts a little bit of breathing space between himself and the Czech into Acqua Minerale.
Yeah, Stanek actually didn't get any laps at all in free practice because of engine issues, and then he crashed, which caused the red flag in qualifying. So really inexperienced in this car. While the car drivers ahead, you know, Bolek Bassi only has 1 round as well. He's in 2nd place. Enzo Trulli, he's done a few rounds, missed the previous one at Hungaroring. So a mixture of experience here. Jack Crawford has just gone past 3.1 seconds ahead of Bolek Bassi now. That's after 2.5 laps. An incredible start for the American, who obviously made a great launch off the line as well.
So we do stay green despite the retirement on the opening lap of the race for Josh Mason. Bad luck for the Brit. He's out as we focus in on the battle for 4 and 5. There's Roman Stanek, Villagomez in the background. Car 8 for the Van Amersfoort Racing Team, and there is Enzo Trulli racing for the Carlin team. Down into Tamborello. So Foster just settles into a rhythm as Jack with the fastest lap of the race at 136.52. He's gone. The lead is 4 seconds as Zdenek Chovanec with a big don't argue makes his way by the series debutant. Brandon Lee Oxley, welcome to Euroformula. And Zdenek Chovanec says, cop that.
Yeah, and it does look like Oxley did return to track, so that's good news for him because he wants to get as much experience as he can tonight before races 2 and 3 tomorrow. He's driven an old spec Formula 3 car once, but prior to Friday, you know, no experience with the Dallara 320 whatsoever. So doing an impressive job so far to be battling with drivers who've been in this car for half a season now.
He does rejoin in 11th place. It's been a good weekend so far for Brandon Lee Oxley, who comes over, steps up, let's be honest, from the Spanish F4 series, a last-minute call-up to drive the second DriveX car. He had 1 day testing in an old spec car. As you mentioned, Elliot, that was at the Guadix circuit down in the south of Spain. A phone call after he raced in Portimao in the F4 series 2 weeks ago and says, let's get to Imola. He's never seen the circuit, never raced, never driven one of these magnificent, stunning Dallara EF320 F3 spec cars. And he was consistently within striking distance of the main group throughout practice. Mind you, being pushed off the road by Zdenek just a few laps ago. Doesn't help his course, but he has rejoined, and he's still ahead of Nazim Azman and Casper Stevenson, both of whom have pitted. As Bolek Bassi comes under enormous pressure from the championship leader, Cameron Dass. Around the outside goes the American, and Bolek Bassi says no. Cameron Dass loses a ton of time. Foster around the outside. What a move by Foster to move up into third place. That's costly for the American, the championship leader. Back into position 4. Louis Foster goes through into third place. You're right on board with the Carlin Racing entry of the Italian. Enzo Trulli in position 7. That's Villa Gomez just ahead, the Mexican, ahead of Enzo.
Yeah, and Enzo has a little bit of experience on this track. He did a test day with Crown Motorsport in the Formula 4 car just a week ago, actually. So he does know the layout very well, but you know, very inexperienced with Carlin. Was very quick practice. Here is a replay. So Cameron Dass actually almost looks like he locked a brake there, but tries to go around the outside of Tamburello, the entry to the first part of the chicane. Has to close off the steering because there isn't enough space, and because he's compromised on the exit, that allows Foster with more traction to sweep around the outside at the second part. That as it goes uphill, you know, it actually becomes more advantageous on that outside line.
Cem Bolek-Basi, no chance, says the Turk to the American. And Foster takes third place. Cameron Dass has to think about the championship. We have raced 4 times already in 2021. Starting at Portimao in support of the Portuguese Formula 1 Grand Prix. Paul Ricard in the south of France. Spa-Francorchamps and Hungary 2 weeks ago. This is the second half of the series, albeit we will have a break after here before we come back to Austria, the fabulous Red Bull Ring in September. Crawford, he's 6.5 seconds up the road. Then this battle for second place is Foster.
That was a little too close, but he's backed out of it, and that's obviously going to bring Dass back in as well. We've got Roman Stanek chasing 3 motorsport cars. One of them's in first place, the next 2 are in 4th and 5th. We did see them lock out practice and qualifying, so we know they're quick here. But Louis Foster in the Crypto Tower car and Cem Bolek-Basi, Van Amersfoort racing driver, just ahead. Now, Bolek-Basi, like you said, has done European GT4 here, but in a very heavy BMW, which is nothing like the Dallara 320. So, you know, you can't really apply that experience with your braking zones and all that kind of stuff.
Let's say he knows which way the corners go.
Yeah, he knows the corners, but he didn't know what speed to approach them at in this car until Friday, as it was.
This fabulous 4-car fight for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. Crawford is gone 6.6 seconds up the road as they exit Acqua Minerale up to Alta Variante, the high chicane at the top of this legendary circuit, which next year celebrates 7 decades of world-class motor racing. Bolek-Basi in 2nd place, Foster. Then we go to Dass and Roman Stanek. Villa Gomez. Actually, we'll check the gap. It's 2 seconds, so the Mexican not too far off this battle from 2nd through to 5th. If they do fight, he may well catch up in the 2nd Van Amersfoort racing car.
But he's got to look at Enzo Trulli behind him because he is in that all-important 6th place, which will give you pole for race 2, the reverse grid. Cameron Dass now being lined up by Roman Stanek, trying to go around the outside of the pit straight with the 2 kinks in the middle of it. He's going to have the inside line when they come to Tamburello, but it's a very, very long way, and they almost touch wheels. Stanek tucks in behind, but he's now going to go around the outside as Louis Foster attempts the same on Cem Bolek-Basi. Bolek-Basi maintains the inside line, holds him off just about. I believe they did make a little bit of contact there. Dass also retains a position behind them. Jack Crawford's probably added another second to his lead as these 4 cars battle.
He has indeed. He's now 7 seconds up the road. What a fantastic fight. Race 1, round 5 of the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. Bolek-Basi holds off. Foster, then Dass and Stanek. They were side by side down the straight. And Villa Gomez and Trulli, they're not too far back. And behind them, there is Caminiaz, Philippe the Pole, Zdenek Chovanec. Enzo Shanti moves up into 10th place. Does the 2nd Texan, the 3rd American, but it's the Turk in 2nd place under all sorts of pressure. A fabulous fight. Race 1 of Euroformula this weekend at Imola. Bolek-Basi holds on to 2nd. Foster, Dass and Roman Stanek.
Jack Crawford now around 8 seconds ahead. Hopefully we're going to follow him as he completes this lap, because there's something really interesting to point out about how he's taking some of these corners compared to his rivals. See, this train of cars, if you're in the slipstream of the car ahead, you want to be following their line because that's going to punch a hole in the air for you. It's going to make you a little quicker down the straights, and there are a lot of straights at Imola. But Jack Crawford, who is on his own coming down the pit straight, he comes way tighter to the wall than everyone else. He puts more steering up in. Here's Cem Bolek-Basi. You see the green line here, he doesn't quite cross it, and he stays pretty much where the grid slots are. Jack Crawford will be up against the wall for almost all of this straight every single time, and he does actually make up time doing it.
Foster tries the outside of Bolek-Basi. He may do it down into Tamburello. Cem goes very deep under brakes. They're almost side by side. Cameron Dass, the championship leader, in 4th place, and Roman Stanek in car 7 right behind as well. This is superb. Fantastic racing in the Euroformula Open Championship. Stanek with a big look at the back of Cameron Das. Incredibly, Bolokbashi as they go into the Tosa curve still holds second place. Villagomez truly in the background, and we've just lost Philippe Caminhas. The pole goes off into the gravel. Just, you got a glimpse of that at the top of your screen. We'll try and get a replay. He was in position 8 as Das and Stanek fight for 4 and 5. Cameron Das, he was in second place earlier on in the race. Stanek all over the back of the American, the championship leader at Aqua Minerale. Still no word on Caminhas. There's the yellow flag though. The safety car is out. We'll try and get you a replay in a moment. In fact, here it is. There's truly going through. There's Philippe Caminhas. Locks up. That was a bizarre moment. Hits the wall, bang. The front wing is gone. And the 88 car is out.
I'd hypothesise it looks like the steering was already doing something wrong before he got to the corner. There is Motorpark and Crypto Tower Team Principal Tournament Rental Car not looking too happy. So at least Philip's out the car. We can see there's not too much damage on the right-hand side. But I'm fairly sure that front right wheel isn't quite how you want it to be.
Prior to the crash, it was a bizarre incident, Elliot.
Poor Jack Crawford though, 9.4 seconds up on everyone else. That's going to be gone now. And that heat he'd got in his tyres as well, the heat cycle. He's going to have to do it all over again.
Well, he's just come past our commentary position now as we take a look at the race leader going through the high chicane, Alto Variante, at the top of the circuit. Perfect line from the 52 Motorpark car. A 9.3 second lead evaporates for the American. And he has the unpleasant sight of the Lamborghini Huracan safety car just ahead of him. Bolokbashi in second place, Foster third, Das, Roman Stanek. Yeah, Philippe Caminhas, that was a bizarre incident. The car certainly had broken. That is not where a driver goes off.
Yeah, sometimes normally. It can also be brakes as well. So if you got the brake bias a little bit wrong, the rear wheels will just go and then you're off. But we don't want to hypothesize too much because obviously there is a race still going on up front. Jack Crawford now, I'm thinking, has he been in the lead when there's been a safety car restart so far? I don't think he has. And Paul Ricard, when he won, that was really close battling throughout with Louis Foster and Cameron Das. And they kept it clean for most of it. Did get a little too close at times. So restart's going to be very important. I know some drivers with the smoother driving styles get a little bit slow on the restarts because they don't get the heat back into the tyre straight away. But with this very, very long straight at Imola, that shouldn't be an issue.
Philippe's car is taken away off the circuit. That's bad luck for the pole, car 88. We'll see him back for race 2 tomorrow. Jack Crawford, it might be a tenuous bow, but he will draw on the experience from the Italian F4 Championship in 2020. He won race 3, and that was a safety car interrupted race some almost 12 months ago at the end of 2020. Admittedly, it wasn't in a Euroformula F3 spec car, which is significantly faster, a lot faster in fact, but he does have some experience of a restart at Imola from the safety car, and he'll have to do that in just a few moments' time. We've passed half race distance as the safety car does prepare to come in this lap. Philippe's car has been removed off the circuit, so we'll check the order for you. Crawford, a 9.3 second lead. Now it's down to nothing. Bolokbashi in second place, Foster third, Das P4, Stanek 5, Villagomez, Trulis, Denek, Jovanek. He's up into position 8 from Enzo Shanti. Good drive from Enzo in 9. And the series debutant, Brendan Lee Oxley 10. Adsman and Stevenson, they pitted after contact in the early stages of the race. They ran out the field. Caminhas and Mason, the 2 retirements. You ride once again on board with Enzo. Truly in P7, that's Rafa Villagomez just ahead of the Italian, driving for the legendary team of Trevor Carlin.
Now it's showing on our timing that Casper Stevenson is a lap down. Now we need to kind of figure out where he is in the order here, because obviously there should be blue flags waved on the restart if he is further up than he should be.
So the safety car pulls into pit lane. We will keep one eye on Casper. Jack accelerates as the sun sets here at Imola. Bolokbashi, not a bad restart from the Turk. He checks his mirrors. Foster's still right there. He has to defend from Das Stanek. But Jack, he breaks the airflow for Bolokbashi. He gets the tow. In fact, here's an opportunity for the Turkish driver. For the Van Amersfoort racing team, tries to dive down the inside. That was more to unsettle the American. Jack Crawford into Tamburello, still in the race lead at the restart of race 1 of 3 here this weekend. Foster into third place. There's Cameron Dass. So the safety car has reset the race in its entirety. Rafa Villagomez, Enzo Trulli, good restart from him. And Zdenek Chovanec for Double R Racing Car 66. That magnificently prepared car of the Venezuelan, Portuguese, Czech driver, depending on which day it is, which passport he's using. Nevertheless, Zdenek up into P8. As the sun sets here at Imola, Jack Crawford needs to go, and he's doing that already. Bolak Bashi was close to the American at the restart. Foster goes through in P3. But Crawford once again has found rhythm as they race to the top of the hill here at Imola. Car 52 for Motor Park, the American. A move further back into Alfa Valiente.
It looked like Rafael Villagomez potentially going for 5th place, or Roman Stanek.
That's a brave move.
Yeah, it is very, very brave over the top of that crest. Enzo Trulli actually closing in on the back of Villagomez as well. So it was probably actually Villagomez defending as we follow the battle ahead. So that's Louis Foster being chased by Das and then Stanek. Villagomez come for after that.
Oh,
and
Trulli
he's
makes
actually gone into the
contact.
gravel. Yeah, so Trulli's made it through the corner, but it doesn't look like Villagomez is there. So we're not sure who actually went off there.
Chovanec takes the both of them. So Zdenek will come across the line in car 66 on your screen. There's Roman going through car 7, position 5. Chovanec up into position 7. Enzo Trulli the loser. As Nazim Azmin goes down the inside, tries to take both the DriveX cars, takes one of them. Goes by Brandon Lee Oxley, Enzo Shanti just ahead. So the safety car has helped the Malaysian. He did not drop a lap. He tries the outside now of Enzo Shanti up the inside. Nicely done from the Malaysian. And the DriveX team cars follow him through. Enzo Shanti, Nazim Azmin. So it's a second life for the Malaysian. Nazim Azmin now up into 9th place.
And what they potentially did in the pit stop there as well is give him a fresh set of tyres so he can go for fastest lap. And the fastest lap from race 1 and race 2 contributes to the race 3 grid. So he could be going for race 3 pole at the same time as trying to make his way back up the order here.
So we are being told from race control that the clock is now ticking. We have got 9 laps to race, but potentially we won't make the full race distance with that safety car introduction. It is getting, well, not dark yet, but the sun will set quite rapidly. We've got 15 minutes and 35 seconds to race. It will now turn into a timed race. Although the way Jack is going, he may get in the full race distance. As you look at Cameron Dass, there is Roman Stanek. Good to see him having a good run here this afternoon, replacing the Hungarian driver, Vivian Kestier. And apologies because I know I did not pronounce Vivian's name anywhere near correctly. I think if you're not from Hungary, you can't do it anyhow.
Yeah, there's a long history of Hungarian language we'll go into another time. Crawford extended his lead there 1.5 seconds. Again, he cuts in way closer to the pit wall down that pit straight. So potentially, you know, there's maybe some rubber there laid down by another series that he's spotted because he's been using that line for 2 days now. Following the battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and now 5th place as well. Stanek's keeping with it. Villagomez drops 1.4 seconds behind, but he knows that 6th place will get him pole for race 2, so he shouldn't worry too much about chasing the cars ahead at the moment if he doesn't want to take too much out of his tyres. Going back up the hill now, Crawford already 1.6 seconds clear, so yeah, he's won this race, I think. No matter how many safety cars, it's going to be a Crawford win. It's really interesting who does finish 2nd, though, because we've got the title implications. We've got Louis Foster and Cameron Dass, who are fighting Crawford for the title. Dass is leading the points at the moment. Bolak Bassi has only done 1 round so far. This is his 4th race in the car.
And fastest lap of the race as well to Jack Crawford, a 1:36.1. That's quick on still a heavy car. That was just 1 lap ago. Bolak Bassi looking for another podium. There's Roman Stanek. So it's not quite as frantic, this battle for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th as it was prior to the safety car intervention. Rafa Villagomez in the 2nd Panama Auto racing car trying to stay in touch with Roman Stanek. There's Cameron Dass, the championship leader. 2nd year in the series, also racing 2020 in the FIA Formula 3 Championship. Villagomez, he's racing in that very series this year, as is Jack Crawford and Roman Stanek. This world-class field, of course. Let's remember it was not too long ago. Yuki Tsunoda was racing with us in Euroformula. Within 12 months, yes, he was racing F2 at the same time, was catapulted virtually into Formula 1 in the Toro Rosso Alpha Tauri.
Yeah, which is just down the road in Faenza.
It's not 10 kilometres away.
Oh, it's a straight line. I'd cycle it. Cameron Dass in 4th place at the moment. I think the tyre life here, because the temperature's getting lower, the tyres should be able to last longer, particularly as they go side by side. I spoke to it quickly. Roman Stanek is going to try and pass him.
He's in the marbles.
Gets happy, yeah, but he's got the traction going up the hill, so I'm not sure if this is usually a place where you go too wide, because you've got the chicane as you come over the crest. Cameron Dass does have the inside line. Stanek keeps to the outside. He stays ahead, goes wide,
runs
around
off
the outside of the corner. Yeah, so he didn't gain an advantage there, so that's fine that he can do that and stay behind Cameron Dass. All this is doing is drawing Villagomez in and has allowed Bollock, Bassi and Foster to jump away ahead of them.
Fantastic racing from Cameron Dass and Roman Stanek. The Czech tried to take the American, the championship leader, and Cameron says no. Smashes the ripple strip at the top of the hill. Alta Variante. They need to be careful of doing that. They're very, very quick, these cars, but they're not, well, let's say they're not touring cars, they're not GT cars. They have to treat them with some degree of respect. So late on the brakes. Down into Rivata 1, this is Rivata 2, and then the long run, keep the momentum, hook in, down the straight where they're touching over 260 kilometres an hour. On board with Enzo, airborne. There was fresh air between the Michelin tyres and the bitumen. At the top of the hill for the Italian. Crawford now the lead. We'll check that. It's 2.8 seconds. Bollock Bassi, he's looking good for a podium here this afternoon. Foster, second in the series, third on the road, but critically, Cameron Dass, he is behind him, so he will take some points out of the championship leader. The gap coming into this, 203 less 184, so that's what, 19 points. So he will cut that down marginally prior to race 2 tomorrow morning. We'll take...
And yeah, and I was going to say, Stanek actually does have quite a bit to gain here, because if he can break into the top 10 in the points, and if he does a very good weekend, you know, you can earn super license points just by getting in there. So he does have something to fight for here. And so does Bollock Bassi, who has only done 1 round, but he is also in the top 10 already. We're on board with Enzo Trulli, the only Italian driver in the field this weekend, coming down the hill. This is one of the most iconic tracks an Italian can race at, isn't it?
This is a fantastic story for Enzo Trulli. Last year, he was a professional kart racer for the Kart Republic team. Started the season over in the United Arab Emirates. He won the UAE F4 series in Dubai in the very last race by a single point. They were to race, him and his father Jano, we'll get to him in a moment, they were going to race in Formula 4, and if we remember Jano, he went from karting to Formula 1 in 12 months. That's no exaggeration, with Formula 3 in between as he dives down the inside. Chauvenet goes in very deep, so when he won the UAE F4 series, had a chat with his father Jano, who of course had a very storied career in Formula 1. Of course, the crowning glory of his F1 championship life was 2004 when he won the Monaco Formula 1 Grand Prix. So my point being, they looked at Euroformula and said, yeah, why not? Jano did it 25 odd years ago.
Yeah, I think he did 1997 German F3. I may be wrong there.
6, I think.
Yeah, because he
regardless,
had a very good livery as well. Very iconic looking car.
He went from karting to Formula 3 to Formula 1, so Enzo Trulli following in his father's footstep. He did win a Formula 4 series and went straight into this beautiful F3 spec series.
And it looks like Trulli has just passed Chauvenet. It's updated on our timing screens. We can't see the move being done, but that is a move for position. That's going to bring Trulli back behind Villagomez, who was fighting with earlier.
This is a
replay.
Move. Down into Tamburello, Chauvenet tries to defend, but Enzo with one almighty send goes in deep, but he's got track position. Nicely done by Enzo Trulli. This is his view on board. The sun in his eyes. Chauvenet takes the traditional racing line. Enzo Trulli says, here I come, takes the place. And the Italian now up into 7th. Fabulous pass by Enzo Trulli. First time out with the Carlin Racing team.
Jack Crawford now 3.7 seconds ahead of the field. He's lapping 0.8 of a second faster than anyone else. Incredible performance by the young American. But this is really, because I remember speaking to him when he was in F4 at this track a year ago. Well, not at this track, a different track actually, but he was so relaxed by this point in the season. And it's the same in Euroformula. He's hopping in this car, he's hopping in the FIA free car, just coming in and out, and you can see there him going very close over that green patch on the inside of the corner, per se, in the pit straight, because he knows where the grip is on this circuit. And here is a replay of another move. We're going to see Trulli.
Oh, Chauvenet off the road. That's why Atzman has gone through and taken Stanek in the 66 double R car. Lucky to keep that. We'll get back on the road as we rejoin. Roman Stanek still trying to find a way past the championship leader, Cameron Dass. So truly into 7th now. Atzman 8th, Chovanec 9th, and Enzo Shanti, the 2nd Texan, the 3rd American, rounds out the top 10. Atzman has really been helped by this safety car intervention. He's on the back of Truly now. There's Foster on the back of Bolokbashi. This is a fantastic battle for 2nd and 3rd. Jack is gone the gap 4.5 seconds, and he's done a 1:35.528, an average speed of 197 kilometres an hour. I think we don't appreciate sometimes how incredibly quick these Euroformula cars are.
Yeah, they're very light, very nimble, very low centre of gravity as well. Probably one of the best racing cars you can get outside of, you know, the professional ranks of F1 and IndyCar. And they're actually designed around Formula 1 safety standards. Louis Foster eyeing up Chen Bolokbashi for 2nd place on laps 16 and 20. I think we should be able to go the full distance here, so they're going to have 3.5 laps more to battle for this position. Foster is currently gaining on Cameron Dass, because Cameron Dass is 2 positions behind him, or 1 position behind him actually, but if he gets past Bolokbashi, he will reduce Dass's points lead further. They cross the line onto lap 17, 0.4 seconds between those two now.
Bolokbashi got a good run down into Ravazza 1. And that was enough to give him just enough of a gap to break the toe from Foster behind. There's Dass and Stanek, 4 and 5. The Czech Roman Stanek. Jack Crawford, 5.6 seconds up the road. Of course, we should point out also, we're speaking about the Euroformula car. They are the same car that is racing in the Super Formula Lights Championship over in Japan.
And of course, this is one of the only open engine formulas in junior single-seater, well, in all single-seaters in the world, because we've got Spies engines, we've got HWA engines here. Previously, we had the
Toyota.
Yeah, the Toyota-based engines as well.
Oh, one car off. Oh, it's Chem. Chem's gone off the road and thrown away 2nd place. Within sight of the checkered flag, also Bolokbashi's gone off the road. Foster finally goes through into 2nd place. So Bolokbashi, looking for 2nd, now has to fight Cameron Dass. Roman Stanek tries to take the both of them as well. At the moment, he's still on the podium. Here's an opportunity for Roman Stanek to finally go by Cameron Dass. Cem Bolokbashi lucky to still be in the race. Stanek tries the inside, it becomes the outside, ducks back down the inside into Ravazza 1, and the Czech, Roman Stanek, finally goes through and takes the championship leader, Cameron Dass, who goes back to position 5. Roman checks the mirrors immediately, he has to break the toe, stays in the middle of the circuit, looks to his left, the Americans right behind him. Bolokbashi incredibly still in 3rd place. Stanek goes to the right, breaks the toe, and Cameron will be frustrated. That was an opportunity when Bolokbashi threw away 2nd place. Foster's gone through into 2nd. Take a look at this. Chovanec again going off the road in the same place he did 6 laps prior. Rejoins. He'll be lucky. He'll be relieved to see the checkered flag. What a moment for Cem, racing down the hill.
It's an incredible 4-wheel drift. I've never seen that done in a single-seater before.
That was spectacular.
And I think there might have been contact there, at least over the curbs. You know, the car jolted, so it looked like Stanek and Dass potentially tapped. But either way, you know, hitting the curbs that hard is really going to hurt the car. We've only got 1.5 laps to go, so if Dass wants to recover this position, he hasn't got long. It's only a 10th gap between him and Stanek in 4th. And it looks like Jack Crawford's just posted a new fastest that, 1:35.525. There is Bolokbashi. Stanek in 4th place, Cameron Dass in 5th, chasing him. He's going to know exactly where Stanek's strong in which corners, because he's had him in his mirrors, so he's knowing, you know, what parts of the track Stanek likes most, the same vice versa. So it's going to be very tricky for either of these two to catch one another out.
7.4 seconds the lead between, or lead from Crawford back to Foster. So if we add in the 9-second lead prior to the safety car coming out onto the circuit, it's something, what, 17, 18, 19 seconds almost that Crawford has built up on the rest of the field. So not sure if this... No, we should have 1 more lap to go with the completion of this one. We will make it. It will not be a timed race. We will go the full distance.
And another fastest lap by Jack Crawford. 198 kilometers per hour. That's massive. And another thing, looking at this, because they were discussing they're on medium downforce wing level, the rear wing. And if you're running in the pack, you want low downforce so you can get a stronger slipstream effect. Crawford starting at the front. He doesn't have that straight line speed advantage yet. He's consistently faster in the final sector. So incredibly impressive job right now. And you know, well-deserved win if he goes ahead to win this.
That's 3/10 off his qualifying pace. The gap, 8.5 seconds. Foster in second place. He will take a good chunk of points out of the championship leader, Cameron Dass, who's in position 5. Villagomez just behind in 6th. And it's truly Atzman, Chauvenet, Shanti in 10th place. Roman Stanek in P4, 1 step off the podium. The dying stages of race 1 here at Imola. Jack Crawford on his way to victory. Foster goes through in 2nd place. Bolokbashi incredibly stays on the podium after one almighty wild ride racing down the hill just a few laps ago. This is an opportunity missed for Cameron Dass, though, as Crawford is about to come around to get the last lap board now and puts himself into contention for the championship, despite the fact that by circumstance he has had to miss a couple of races due to clashing with the FIA Formula 3 Championship, including his home race at Austin, Texas. Here is the race leader, the pole sitter, the Red Bull Junior. Will he be the next American in Formula 1? He's certainly the best bet so far, a super talent. We know Red Bull have a huge pool of junior drivers, and Jack has to be right at the top of the list as Nazim Atzman and Enzo Trulli come together at the Alta Variante on the 2nd to last lap. Suspension failure as a result of that contact for the Malaysian. Trulli still circulating. What a shame for Nazim Atzman and Enzo Trulli. Enzo has been passed by Brandon Lee Oxley, who should come home in position 9 on debut in Euroformula. The fight for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. Foster, Bolokbashi, Stanek and Dass down into Aqua Minerale for the final time. Jack Crawford, 9.7 seconds up the road. Foster will come home in 2nd place. There is the Brit, the American out of view. Here's the Turk. Cem Bolokbashi should come home in 3rd place. The final few corners, the sun sets, the Red Bull Junior exits Rivazza 2. The checkered flag is about to wave. Jetpack Jack Crawford, Texas Ranger, wins race 1 here at Imola this afternoon. He dominates the opener here at Imola of Euroformula. Takes a dominant victory by 9.7 seconds. Foster across the line in 2nd place. Bolokbashi does come home in 3rd place from Stanek, who misses the podium on debut in Euroformula by a single position. Congratulations to Timo and the Motor Park team. It has been a nervous weekend for them thus far. Don't mess with Texas. Crawford puts himself in contention for the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship as we take a look at the two DriveX teammates. Oh no, they come together on the final lap of the race down into Tamburello. Chauvenet going through. Enzo Shanti around in the gravel. One Texan takes the checkered flag. The other is parked in the sand. That's hugely disappointing for Enzo. Brandon Lee Oxley, his teammate on debut. Words will be spoken in the DriveX garage at the conclusion of this one. Brandon Lee living down in Marbella in the south of Spain. And of course, Enzo Shanti with his Venezuelan heritage. DriveX, a Spanish team. I don't know about you, but I'm glad I do not speak Spanish because it's going to be a tense situation down in the DriveX garage. They come together in Tamburello, almost within sight of the checkered flag. There is the race winner, Jack Crawford, with a dominant display here this afternoon. Crawford takes the win by almost 10 seconds. Louis Foster, valuable points in the championship. And Bolokbashi on the podium again this afternoon. Roman Stanek, P4. Dass, the championship leader, still just 5. Rafa Villagomez, great drive from the American. Zdenek, an eventful race, but he comes home in 7th place. From Brandon Lee Oxley, Enzo Trulli, and Enzo Shanti is still classified 10th, despite finishing the race in the gravel at Tamburello. Stevenson, Atzman, Caminiaz, and of course Josh Mason. Retirements from this race. Josh, unfortunately for him, was out after not more than 1 lap on this Imola circuit. The only consolation is he will have, well, a slightly fresher set of Michelin tyres. Not that that's a problem. A new set bolted on for each of the 3 races here this weekend. Jack comes back into pit lane, car 52. And he is victorious. 5th in the championship. Casper Stevenson 4th. But that will change by the end of the weekend. The next American to race Formula One, will it be the driver who steps out of the 52 Motor Park car? His name is Jack Crawford. Looking to get on the F1 grid. The first American since Alexander Rossi around about half a decade ago. Doing everything right. And Helmut watching on from Austria must be pleased with his boy, who takes a dominant victory. His mum Nikki to the left of your screen, congratulated by team owner.
You missed all the excitement.
Abbiamo ammirato la grandezza del pilota di Charlotte, North Carolina, Stati Uniti d'America.
Louis Foster must be very close to Cameron Dass in the championship. As Chem, another podium for the Turk. Let's take a look at the podium place getters. 3rd place, it was a wild ride, but he comes home on the podium from Istanbul in Turkey for Van Amersfoort Racing, Cem Bolokbashi. And 3rd place, Louis Foster takes valuable points out of the American Cameron Dass with a fine drive into 2nd place. And the winner, Jack Crawford, the Red Bull Junior, is down in pit lane now, and we're about to hear from the race winner, Jack Crawford.
Jack Crawford, great win here at Imola. Probably special because the track is special and the day was very hot, so difficult conditions.
Yeah, very hot day for sure. It's definitely getting a bit tiring at the end. I still need to catch my breath a bit. But yeah, great to win here. It's one of my favorite tracks in the world, and yeah, excited to win and pull away with quite ease. So.
And it's the 3rd win in the Euroformula, so you're keeping good form.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shame in Hungary that we didn't get to even be on the podium. But yeah, we bounced back this weekend and hopefully get some more wins.
Well done. All the best.
The highlights of race 1 here at Imola. Jack Crawford from pole position rocketed into the lead. Cem Bolokbashi from the 2nd row of the grid went side by side with Cameron Dass as Foster on the outside. Crawford was already gone. It was a good start by all the field as they made their way through relatively cleanly until this. Stevenson coming together with Louis Foster. The 2 English drivers take themselves out. Nazim Atzmin, the innocent victim in that battle. Cameron Dass and Louis Foster. This was Philippe Caminiaz with almost certainly a mechanical failure. The pole was out. That brought out the safety car. It eroded the 9-second lead that Crawford had. No problem, he did it again. This was a fantastic pass by Enzo Trulli. Cem Bolokbashi threw away 2nd place. Incredible skill to keep it on the circuit just and hold on to take 3rd place. Roman Stanek side by side with Cameron Dass makes the move down into Rivata 1. And the driver who joins us from the FIA Formula 3 Championship from the Czech Republic would race home to finish in position 4. The Malaysian ended the race in the gravel. Atzman, after coming together with Enzo Trulli. Don't mess with tech, says Jack Crawford, takes a fantastic victory as the sun sets here in Motor Valley at Imola. Bolokbashi in 3rd place, Foster. And here's Jack on the top step of the podium once again. The most famous national anthem in world sports. all the way from the USA, Jack Crawford with a dominant victory here at Imola this evening. Cem in third, Louis in second, and Jack on the top step. Thanks for your company. It will be Rafa Villagomez who finishes sixth, who starts on pole position for the inverted grid tomorrow for race 2. We'll see you then live from Imola, the 2021 Euroformula Open Championship. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
A little bit closer, thank you. Ready for the pictures. Looking down. And then looking on your left for the camera. And now, champagne! Bene, e con questo brindisi qualcuno lo preserva per dopo, quindi champagne da consumare come aperitivo.
Ciao, grazie.